What's up, everybody? This is Ben with another crypto update. This one might be a little longer for a quickie. There's just a couple things I want to talk about. I'll try to do it as quickly as possible. First is a little bit of a lecture. So I know it's cliche to say you need to have a plan, but I'm telling you right now that you need to have a plan. And I don't mean like numbers of when you're going to buy and sell. I mean overall, you need to have a plan of what's going on, and that includes possibly price points and where you want to buy and sell, but it includes a lot of other things. It includes how you're going to trade. Are you going to be day trading or swing trading, or more of a long-term holder like I am? Um, it also involves the people that you're listening to on Twitter and trusting, and I would be very cautious on that. And I say that even for me. Please do not ever buy or sell anything on my account. Um, Use it as information if it helps you, and do that for everybody. But just because somebody on Twitter says something does not mean anything. If you've been in crypto long enough, I've been in it for years, it will do what it wants to do. And you can try to guess and you can try to predict and you can try to whatever. It means nothing. So, nothing against the guys that put predictions out and stuff like that. That's their thing. I don't do it because there's no way of knowing if that's really going to happen. There's just no way. The best way you can do it is to find major support and resistance levels, and that's a way to limit your risk and allow you to possibly, get into a better position. And so, please, especially, I'm grateful that you have joined my Twitter, and you're watching and you're following along. But I never created it for that. I'm not trying to build some kind of giant account and sell something. I said earlier that this is a very mental game, and it is. If you don't have a plan, meaning you don't know how you're going to trade, or what you're going to listen to, or when, or where, or what, then it's going to affect you mentally in a very negative way. I can speak for that to myself. I got deep into this years ago, and it really started messing with my head, because I was trading, I was missing trades exactly the opposite. It's just as hard to sell at the wrong time as it is to buy at the right time. So, it's like a 50-50 thing, and I seem to be on the wrong side of it every single time. And it was something that was affecting me, and that kind of thing can leak into your family, into your marriage, into your social life, whatever it is. And it can really, just stir up stuff. It isn't worth it. So figure out how you want to trade, figure out your plan, if it's price points, who you're listening to, what you're watching, and then educate yourself. Get on TradingView, it's free, and start drawing some lines. And you don't have to just agree with everybody. You might see a pattern differently than somebody else. So it's important to do that kind of stuff and do some research and figure out what you want to do and invest in. All right, so that's my lecture. Let's move on. So, here's the Hbar chart. Hbar is obviously a popular coin right now. It's I can tell by the response I get on my Twitter, that a lot of you guys are into Hbar, and I am too. It's the largest position that I hold. I've said that a number of times. I've been in since it was very low. I bought my way up, and then I bought every dip all the way down, and then I really reloaded in this accumulation zone here as well. So I'm in this for the longer haul, for the bigger picture. I'm not going to try to do these little trades in here. I mean, if you're a day trader, this is probably great. You got a very easy double top here, top signal, and now you're into hitting on some pretty major long-term support. So, not the worst time to at least try to make a buy. But I'm in this for the longer haul, so I'm just kind of waiting it out. And that's why I gave all those different kind of scenarios in my last video. Like, will this all-time high hold and we bounce here and go up? If not, will this level hold off of this stuff and we come a little lower and bounce up? If not, then does this level hold? And if not, do we come all the way down and do some kind of big, swooping thing here, off of this major support? And any one of those were valid and could possibly happen. So that's why I said them all. One unique thing that I want to point out is that I have two different zones here. I have this one, which is a higher zone. It's around like 38 down to like 32. And it's because there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of action in here, and then there's also a ton of action here that acted as resistance, right? So between these two lines, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And so I think it's a valid zone to have. But at the same time, on this other chart, I have a zone that's lower. And it takes more of the lower approach. Here's my bird. You remember when Hbar was flipping the world off? And after that, it created this giant move, just so you guys know. But this zone right here is lower. And it's valid as well, because it has all this reaction here, and all this reaction here, and then it has reaction under here as well with it. And so it's kind of like two different zones, or you draw like this giant zone. Oops, that was a really crooked line. Or you draw like a giant zone, and I think that giant zone is just kind of too big. So I'm kind of watching both right now, and just kind of see how they react, because I don't really know what's going to happen, and we might get a better idea. Like this one stabbed the bottom of this zone, and also stabbed this diagonal that I drew in here a couple of days ago, which I think is kind of interesting because we hit so many points through here, perfectly on multiple days here, on multiple days here, resistance here, perfect, lots of resistance here, and now we've tagged it again here. So maybe there's some kind of trend going on there. I don't really know, but I'm watching it. The other thing I want to point out on Hbar is the 9. I've talked about the 9MA a lot, and how it really likes to stay with the price action. And they're best friends. This is what I call it. You can tell they're best friends. When one of them gets far away from the 9, one of them wants to come back to the other. And so there's two options here. Right now, we are well below the 9. I mean, price action is down here. The 9 is all the way up here at like 43. And we are all the way down at like 33. That's a huge move away from the 9. So two things can happen. One is we get a daily candle here that brings us all the way back up to the 9. And that is, I think, a possibility for one of two reasons. One is because the distance it is away from the 9. Two, I like this wick here, and that's could be putting in a situation like this where we get a green fully engulfing back up and kind of get closer to the 9. Not that it means we're going to go up. We might get rejected at the 9, but it means that maybe over the next couple of days we do get some relief here. The other option, if it doesn't come back up and meet the 9, is that it does something like this long enough for the 9 to come down and re-engage with the price. So those are the two options, and one of those two are going to happen. So I don't want to speak absolutes, but that's something that's probably going to happen. And you can look all the way back to the chart and understand that, right? If we get away from the 9, it comes back to it, or the 9 catches up to it. When we were here, we were way overbought. Look how far we were from the 9. So this thing had to come back down to it, and then it fell all the way through. So what happens next is this 9 either goes out like this, and over the next few days it meets up, or we get a couple of big green candles that pushes us back up into the 9 area world, and we see what happens from there. Those are the main things I'm watching. The MACD is turning red, bullish, bearish. Wish it was bullish. The other idea that I saw that I think is interesting, may not mean anything, but I like patterns. I like lines, and I like patterns, and I like repeated patterns. And so if you look at this before our big move, what we have here is this cup with a higher right hand side, followed by like this big swooping handle, and then that led to this giant upside, right? So if you look at our current position, we have this cup, right, with a higher right side, and then we could very possibly, like on my last video, be putting in some kind of swooping handle, and maybe that's our move up. I just say that because I'm talking to myself right now as an idea. Maybe that's an idea, and that's something that I'm watching. So That's all I got for you. This is expected. We have made a huge move up. It had to come back down. I'm not worried. I'm not worried until we're way down here. The only thing I look at is Bitcoin because it kind of determines a lot of stuff. This flag I had drawn in was really, really a killer here. I even put out a tweet that said I think it's time to start looking at Bitcoin again because stuff's starting to move around, you know. And sure enough, today was just massive, man. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about here is one, the volume of selling, which was huge, and two, we did not get this long wick and this big buyback. You know, this sell-off here, we got a major buyback on this candle. Here we have almost a solid candle, so that still could mean, you know, more to the downside. But 42K is a big number here. This resistance and support level goes all the way back to this first high after our previous all-time high of 20,000, where we peaked out here. So we got to watch Bitcoin too and see what happens. As you guys can see over here, when Bitcoin dumps, everything goes with it. It doesn't matter. Very, very, very few might see some gains just randomly, but when Bitcoin dumps, everything does. So we're watching that as well. But you know, hang in there. The biggest thing for this video right now is to show you just those couple ideas, that little cup and handle here, and whether or not maybe we get some kind of big pattern that follows it, and then to watch the 9 MA and the price action and how far apart it is. So yeah, that was a longer video, but hope you guys are hanging in there. I know it's not fun to see your portfolio go down like this. I don't like it either, but again, I am in this for the long haul, and our momentum is still upwards. And as you guys know, it takes a lot to make momentum change the other way. So I think this is a bump in the road, and I'm hanging in there. Peace out.